Did you know that God never meant our brain to deteriorate? And tomorrow we're going to go to the brain, and tomorrow I'm going to show you how you can get brighter and smarter and wiser with age. Brains should not be deteriorating. Have you read of Alzheimer's or dementia in the Bible? I certainly haven't. And before the flood, you know, people were living till they were 700 and 800 years old. We're getting people today who are showing signs of dementia and Alzheimer's in their 40s and in their 50s, and that this should not be. And it's often not just one point, often it's several points, but one is certainly dehydration. So I'll give you a story to illustrate. We had a lady came and did our program a few years ago now. It's probably about 6 years ago now. She was 45 and she brought her mother who had dementia. So we always say if someone has Alzheimer's or dementia, they will need to have a carer with them. Because we're not a hospital, we just teach you how to give your body the conditions for healing. When the mother first arrived, so the mother was probably early 70s, I went into the bedroom and she was just standing there looking out the window. And she looked at me, she didn't seem to even know who I was or acknowledge me. So I talked to the mother, and, well, I couldn't say much to the mother, but I talked to the daughter, and I found out she hadn't drunk any water for 2 days. And because she had dementia, her daughter would ask her and she'd say, oh yes, I've drunk lots of water, but she actually wasn't drinking any. And she hadn't been to the bathroom for 3 days. I'm talking about her bowels. So they're two things that we can fix pretty good. So we gave her herbs to get the bowels moving, and we just got her to drink little bits of water. See, a lot of elderly people are put off water because they don't want to have an accident. But if you can explain to them, just have a mouthful at a time. That's reachable. Just have a mouthful at a time. If you have a mouthful of water every couple of minutes, you'll be surprised how much water you can get into the body in a day. So just have lots of little bits. Within 24 hours, this lady had no dementia. She was lucid, she was talking to people, sitting and dialoguing, and the daughter looked at her, and she hadn't seen her mother like this for a long time. You see, I understand what it's like in an aged care facility, because she had her mother in an aged care facility because it was just so difficult to look after her. She really couldn't leave her. That the nurses are so busy, they don't have the time to make sure everyone drinks enough water. And something else happens. When they get them to drink more water, more of the elderly people are having accidents, and then there's a lot more work for the nurses. I understand that. I understand it. I think it's our role to give our body the conditions so we never get there. Is that right? So that when we're getting into our latter years, our kids will want us to live in the little granny flat because we're going to mind the children. We're going to put the washing on the line. Oh, that's right, you put them in the, anyway, clothesline. They do the ironing, they chop up the vegetables. You know, I say they're queen mother activities, you know, slow down a little bit. But how helpful is that for most busy families to have the mother or the mother-in-law there who's got a clear mind and can be of a help. I understand why so many are put in aged care facilities, because they can't be looked after. One lady said, my mother gets up at 3 in the morning, she goes to the people next door, she puts the clothes on off their clothesline. Oh, and my mother was found down the middle of the road naked. You know, that's very hard, and I feel so much for the person, because, you know, that's very debilitating for the mind to deteriorate like that. And so here we had this lady who got her faculties back within 24 hours because we got her bowels working and she started to drink more water. She really liked the salt. And if you give salt to someone, you know, what's the next thing they do? They reach for the water. So this daughter and her mother, the daughter's name was Isabel, she decided to book in for the next week. So she stayed for 2 weeks. She hadn't seen her mother like this for 10 years. Halfway through the second week, she rang up the aged care facility, she cancelled her room, and she brought her back home. And she lived with her for another 10 years. She eventually, I think, had a heart attack in her early 80s and passed. But what a lovely thing that could happen.